nice of you to invite me. I'm really happy to speak about Art Heist here and also about Finnish National Gallery. So as told, my name is Laamanen and I work in a museum, which is kind of surprising for the game industry point of view. I will talk to you about why we decided to do this kind of project and where we are heading with this. And then, of course, I will tell you about the process we had during the Art Heist, and then also to the end, just a little tips if you want to go and try Fortnite Creative on your own. There are tips, probably some of you already know everything, but still something we learned. Just quickly about me, who am I and why am I doing this kind of projects? I work as a digital producer in Finnish National Gallery. I have my background in art history. I did my master's in Jyväskylä University. And there I actually had a little bit of information technology studies as a minor. But most of my working life has been like working in a museums, art association, in the art field, but being as a humanistic person, a bit techie, more than most of other art historian people. So that is why I ended up quite often taking care of the digital projects, new websites, different kind of development, digitizing projects, this kind of stuff. And eventually I decided, okay, let's make this to my profession because this is something that I already do anyways. I also have studied a bit of cultural producing and digital media services. This is something because I seem to be this kind of study junkie. Like, it's really fun to study more, even when it's not important. And Finnish National Gallery, how many of you know Finnish National Gallery? Surprisingly many. I'm really happy about this. It's not really that known to most people because Finnish National Gallery was renamed 10 years ago, 2014. Before that, it was called State Art Museum. Actually, the translation to English was actually Finnish National Gallery, but still, in Finnish, it was State Art Museum. We have a long, long history, even though the name has history of 10 years only. We started somewhere 1900s, midway, with Finnish Art Association that started collecting art. And after that, it took a few decades, and then we started building Atheneum Art Museum that most of you know. Nowadays, we also have Contemporary Art Museum Kiasma and Simberg Art Museum. They all have different focus points on art, like Atheneum Art Museum shows mostly Finnish art, mostly 19th and 20th century, and also international art. Simberg Art Museum is focused on older art and mainly international art. And then Contemporary Art Museum, as the name suggests, it's contemporary art that it shows. And we have the most important art collections in Finland. This is, of course, I'm working for the organization, so I will tell that this is the most important collection, but it's also most important collection because it's part of our national heritage. It is owned by the state, and we are only maintaining it. We are only taking care of the collection. It is divided into two different this is name-like system. We have the Finnish National Gallery collection that is maintained and shown, exhibited in our museums. And then we have the State Art Deposit collection that is in different kind of official buildings around Finland. And those are sort of different collections, but for example, me, I work with both of them and creating content from both of them. This is in total over 60,000 pieces of art. There are paintings, sculptures, prints, photographs, installations, films, different kind of documents, and we also have really good art history archival that has artist letters and diaries and sketchbooks and stuff like that. And also some recordings like interviews of the artist and that kind of stuff. I work in this kind of Finnish National Gallery program. I started doing this job like 2022. And our goal in Finnish National Gallery program is to kind of level up on the digitalization, enhance our presence in digital worlds, To be honest, we didn't have digital ticketing system until last year. So this was like big thing. We had to have digital ticketing system in our museums for giving the people the possibility of buying their tickets in advance, especially if we have really huge, like you might remember the queues on Ilja Repin exhibition or the queues on Albert Edelfelt exhibition at Atheneum. So this ticketing system had to be done. Then what I mainly do is digital services and content creation. I'm trying to figure out what to do with the collection, how to create more engaging art experiences, and what kind of digital services we could do with financially secure way. I had to figure out about monetization. Museums have been doing free stuff for ages, but I kind of have to think like, is there any way to monetize this at all? And then we have another project that is piloting different kind of Web3 solutions. They are figuring out how as a museum we could be ready for the Web3 challenges that come in the future. They have created this platform called alusta.art, so maybe you want to check that out or not. It's for digital art and how to see and do that. And this, why should we be part of digitalization? Like, why do we have to do this kind of job as a museum? I know this is a super boring slide, by the way, because it's the law. We have actually an act of Finnish National Gallery that is written in the law, what is our mission, what is our purpose in the world. And part of that mission and written in that act is like, for participating in the development of the museum sector as an expert in the field of art museums. So we, Finnish National Gallery, by the law, have to be expert in the museum field of art museums, in the field of art museums. We have to excel, we have to lead the Finnish museum field in this area. And then there is actually a law about what is a museum, like Museum Act. The purpose of the museum is mainly like collect, maintain, and exhibit the cultural heritage. And in art museums' case, it's art collection. But also in the law, there is written that we have to promote access to and accessibility. Those are two different things, accessibility and access to, and use of materials and information. We have to present our cultural and natural heritage and the arts providing experiences. So we have to provide experiences. And we have to outreach the public, interact with the public, and promote and teach and educate of the arts. So this is written in law, so we kind of have to do this kind of stuff. Which brings us to our biggest challenge. We have 3 museums in Helsinki. So 70% of our museum visitors come from Helsinki metropolitan area. But we are a national operator. We are supposed to do this for the entire Finland. We have the over 60,000 pieces of artwork in the collection, but only 2% of those can be presented in our museums. So most of the time, 98% of our collections are really carefully tucked in storage rooms. Of course, they are maintained and taken care of. They are in a stable environment, but they are not visible for the audience because they are in the storage. So how do we do our legal binding mission if we have these kind of issues? And that is where we get to the point of the Digital Finnish National Gallery program. As a starting point, we didn't have to start from the scratch. We had something. We had really well digitized collection. I mean, we had published it all on the website, so everybody could actually go to kansallisgalleria.fi and browse all the collection. We had good websites. We had museum shop online. We also had really strong social media presence, especially by our museums. And we also had some digital services like Atheneum Guide, like audio guide app, what you can use during your museum visit. And then during the COVID period, we had a lot of different kind of piloting experience. We had tried different kind of ways to do museum experiences in digital way. And most of those solutions didn't work after the lockdown went away. Like the second we were again possible to go to the museum, we lost the attraction of the same services online. So this is the challenge that I've been working with. How to create the engaging experience, like not just copy what is done in the museum, what is done in the physical museum place. What should we do that is actually engaging? I've done a lot in 2 years. These are the pilots I've been running as a one-person team. First, we started with 360 filming. We took pictures of the old collections exhibition, Stories of Finnish Art in Ateneum Art Museum. We had filmed 360 filming of Paul and Fanny Sineprokov's house museum in Sineprokov Art Museum. And we did some like guided tours to those. That was actually kind of boring, to be honest. When I was like trying to figure it out, like what is this experience, and I was like it's not really giving you anything when you are just browsing on your computer and trying to walk in these imaginary walls, and all the artwork is kind of bit twisted because especially when you have hanged artwork, when you place the 360 camera in the middle of it, it takes good pictures only of the artworks that are directly on its way. As soon as the camera starts to look around, the artworks are starting to distort. So it's not looking good. So there's also a lot of reflections, and to be honest, it is boring. From there, we went to VR setup. So we did the World of Hugo Simberg. That is VR exhibition. I will show you the trailer in a few minutes. This was our way to be more immersive, be more engaging. To be honest, I still think we kind of nailed parts of it, but it's a bit too static. We have also done this kind of small stuff like video essays. This is something that we should have been doing for a long time, like creating videos of our artworks to YouTube channels, for example. And then we have like the Jonas Hyvönen Mehen is actually a fun project. It's a contemporary artist, Jonas Hyvönen, who created as part of the Kiasma collection exhibition as a commission this digital art experience that was Mehen is it's a game, but it's an artwork. So it's not game, it's artwork. So I really recommend you to look in that. It's really interesting as well. And we have been doing little other stuff. But now because the focus I've been wondering is like how to create virtual art exhibition. So this is the sort of first try. Choose from 4 different paintings, and then you step inside of them, and then you can see a lot of other paintings or other gouache paintings themed the same way. It has really soothing, calm atmosphere.
In the Garden of Death, the skeletal figures are tending to the plants arranged in neat rows.
And once you click the art piece, you kind of get this audio guide about it. So there are 4 different spaces and 4 different themes. Each theme has 5 paintings. They are all gouache paintings that are quite often stocked in a storage room because they are really fragile. They have to be in dark most of the time. So this is something we wanted to show, the pieces that are not usually part of the exhibitions because they can't be. As I told, with this, I think especially with the user testing, we had really good reviews, really good feedback. But I think the issue is that it's mostly static. It's it's something, it's immersive, it's nice way of experiencing things, but once you've experienced it, you have no reason to come back. It's a one-time thing, and it's quite hard to repeat. I mean, creating the 3D walls of the artworks was a lot of work, and it was actually quite expensive. And as a museum, our funding is not really that great. So this is something that I started trying to figure out how to bring more gamification, game-like experience in this virtual art exhibition idea, the concept, like how to create the concept that actually is interactive and engaging. So this is not something I'm going to talk to you a lot about, because I think in your studies you will talk about gamification versus games. But quite often, as we're talking about games, they are games. Their aim is different. When we're talking about gamification, we are talking about something that is, the goal is different. The goal is educate, or the goal is to teach you something, and you are just using game-like features to do that. This is the difference, because, of course, what I'm planning to do, and we are planning to do, is more gamification. We still want to present the art as in the best possible light, but still we kind of have to figure out how to bring the interaction there, how to bring the game-like features. And to be honest, for me, quite often gamification processes, they are quite on top of the thing. They are not really, they're a bit boring. They're quite often kind of childish, and especially in the museum world, I haven't seen that many good gamification projects, some, but not that many. So I was thinking, like, we have to go into the world of games to be able to find those gamification chances, possibilities. Because if we're just going straight to the gamification before the root of the games, we don't really know all the possibilities, and we end up doing something that is just put on top of the thing we are doing. So to be able to create something that is truly gamified and truly interactive and truly engaging, we have to step into the world of games. We have done some projects. As I told, there's a Mehen project that was interesting, but the goal of that is just for the sake of art. That is the only goal. That is a really interesting way of doing digital-born art. But the focus for my project quite often is the collection that we already have that has physical objects, and they are digitized. So this is not the way to do every time. We also did 2 years ago Finnish National Gallery in Decentraland. That's the picture on top of it, like the one on the right corner. That was more gamified than a game project, and to be honest, it had also the same issues that, even though it was really nice and innovative way of showing art, it had the same issues. When we are creating virtual walls and putting pictures of artworks on virtual walls, and that's it, it's boring. It's not the same as when you are going next to the artwork in the museum and experiencing the actual real artwork. So this is a different setting. Last year we did with Yle. They had the Independence Day party at Roblox, and we created this art hunt. Like, we hid 10 art pieces around the Roblox area, the presidential castle palace, what do we call it? And then the kids were trying to find them and trying to find the right places in this one specific gallery room for those artworks. We're doing that again this year. The experience was really nice. We reached a lot of kids, like 100,000 kids. That's a lot for our museum. And also, we had really good feedback. This is the sneaky part of art education. When I'm showing art in this kind of environment that has no teaching agenda, just find the pretty pictures and find the place for them. Once the kids, the young players, hear about the artworks in their school, in any other context, they have memory of those artworks. Everything that is told after that to them about those artworks is stuck easier It's easier to teach them about the art when they recognize the images. So this is a sneaky way to educate people. And this is a really good exploration. But still, I think we needed to go further. If we want to find the way to actually create interactive art exhibition concept, we have to study further. So for us, Fortnite became a possibility. As I told you, we don't have that much funding. We have some funding, but we don't have that much funding. When you are thinking about game development, it's like 2 million per game. For us, it could be like maybe a few thousand, or maybe a few tens of thousands, but not really. Even that is a big money for us. So in a museum field, we have to find different way to explore. We can't just go like, let's plan a game and do that. So the challenge and the idea was this: how to find a way to create a game with our really limited budget, with our really limited resources, and how to explore the gamification possibilities through a game. So I did a lot of benchmarking, I did a lot of sparring with different kind of people, talked to in game industry with people, and eventually we came up with the idea of Fortnite Creative, because it gives a chance of monetization. It has easy-to-use tools, so it is really a lot cheaper because there's a lot of stuff ready-made. And also, it has a wide audience and a lot of people we don't really reach otherwise. A lot of people that would never come to the museums. So we can actually reach a lot of new audience, a lot of new people via Fortnite. So when you are working with a public, as a public organization, we have certain limits of how to do things. So preparations is a huge deal. We have to find different kind of companies that offer the same service, and we have to kind of get offers from different companies. We can't just find the perfect guy who's doing the stuff for us, because we actually have to have a trail that this is not a brother of mine or some kind of other connection. This is when you're using public fundings, even though our funding comes from our own foundation's money, but still, this is something as a public organization we have to do properly every time. Then we got in contact with Helsinki XR Center's Virtual Creation Core, because we had found a partner who was able to do this for us, but the working hours with them were so limited, so we had to do the concept somewhere else. We had to figure out refine the concept, because we couldn't use the company that is going to do all the work for us. We couldn't use them and their expensive hours for everything. They had to be given quite a ready concept. So we started working on the concept with Virtual Creation Core, and we did a lot of workshopping, and we actually did some customer research. We did some questionnaires about Fortnite players, like how do players want to be interacted within Fortnite. We didn't get that many results. We got some. For example, in the beginning, I was thinking, as a museum, we can't have shooting in the game. It's impossible as a museum to endorse violence like this. And then when we talked to the players, they were like, you shouldn't, what is the Fortnite game without shooting? That doesn't make any sense. So I accept that we have to make it possible, but it's not the focus of the game. Then, after that, most of this is probably known stuff for everybody, but this is how we got further with the process. Then we started prototyping with VCC, Virtual Creation Core, and did the user testing as I told. And then we finally got to the point where we actually started doing the implementation with Adventure Club, who is not actually a gaming company, but they did a really good job. So they started working, and then once again, user testing, fine-tuning, a lot of test plays, a lot of different ways to check if this is even a right possible way, and finally got going to live in the early September. And that's not the end. that's when we continue. We actually had last week one test play, and this is something that has to be done all the time. Like, keep the project further. So, I'm not sure if you have already watched the trailer, but I will show you. This is what we came up with. It's an art heist. It's a capture the flag game. You have two teams. They both have their own galleries. And when you enter the game, you have to find the artworks scattered around the island. They are in the containers, as you saw, and you have to break the container to get the artwork inside it. And then you have to take it to the gallery. That's where you get points. And the team that has all the 7 artworks in their gallery, or who has most points when the time runs out, wins. So this is something we decided, for example, in the beginning, we had the idea only that you have to get the artworks to the gallery, and the team that has most artworks in the gallery when the time runs out wins. Then we did a test play, and one of the players got all the artworks and then went hiding. So what does the rest of the players do? So this is why the testing was really important. Even though this is a small game and this is really small gaming project, still we needed a lot of testing to be able to make the game even remotely interesting to play. Otherwise it would have been, there were too many easy ways to hack the game. Like, for example, we had one test game where suddenly one of the test players drove all the cars in the game in front of the other gallery, and they couldn't get out of the gallery. So every time in the game, every time somebody shoots you, you respawn in your own gallery. And if you can't get out of your gallery, what do? The rest of the game is there. So user testing is really important. There's no way of exaggerating this. Over this process, I want to give you a few tips, like how to, if you are starting your own Fortnite Creative project. First of all, UEFN is a really limited version of Unreal Engine. Like, if you know how to do Unreal Engine, it doesn't matter, because in UEFN, there's always a way that it's blocked. Like, you can't do the coding the way you are used to in Unreal Engine. So it takes a lot of testing, and it takes quite a lot of creative thinking, like how to solve this, because there's a lot of tools and a lot of ready-made stuff. But if you have really specific challenge you want to do, sometimes it's not possible, even though you know how to use Unreal Engine well. So you kind of have to figure out a way to swim with UEFN, like find a different kind of solutions. Fortnite also gets approximately 2 updates per month, and those updates take place in working hours in Finland. They are in East Coast time zone, they are in USA East Coast time zone, no, West Coast time zone, they are in the middle of the night, but in Finland that means working hours. So even though we have a company and the coder who has decided, like, today I will do this, and suddenly he can't reach Fortnite Creative at all, because once they are running the updates, everything is blocked. So timetable doesn't really stick, so you have to kind of take this into consideration. Finding a connection at Epic Games helps a lot. We managed to find a connection finally in the August, and then we also got the info and update, like when the updates are coming. So then we know how to, like, which days to avoid in the creating the game. Epic Games makes engagement payouts for the creator, which is nice. I know that there are some creators who has managed to quit their big paying Microsoft jobs just to become Fortnite Games creator. But the visibility is really hard because there's a lot of competition. Epic Games doesn't really tell you how much they're going to pay. And to be honest, you have to have really, really popular game to get good payouts from there. It can be like something small you get on the side, but it's not huge money unless you are really popular. And the visibility, as I told, there's no way of marketing within Fortnite. I mean, it's not possible at the moment. So all you can do is try to market outside the game, and then hope Epic Games picks you as like Epic's picks, and that's the only way to get visibility there. And of course, you get visibility when you have a lot of players and your game is really popular. But how to get the game popular? And the first hours after the publication are crucial. If you get on the lists, like all the visibility in the beginning, or the like when you just released, then you might have better chance, but it drops quite fast. And then, of course, every update brings you a little more visibility, but the best visibility is the moment you actually publish the first time. So that is something. And also, because they make the payouts, before you can even become the creator in Fortnite, you will have to go through US tax officials, this kind of survey, and clarify yourself as an adult in the US tax attorneys. And then, because the age limit is in the States, it's 10, in Europe it's 12, so you have to do this following with the IARC that is under 12. So you can't do certain things because of the age limit. And this is, everything goes through Epic moderation, and if the age limit doesn't fit, it doesn't get published at all. So, what is next? Well, of course, we continue the work we have been doing and what we find working well. But right now, we are going back to the focusing on the virtual art exhibition concept. This is something during all the work on Fortnite and all the test games and all the workshops we did creating that concept, we have some ideas how to focus on the virtual art exhibition, and that is definitely the next focus on us. And also finding partners and funding. As I told, museums have limited funding, so we actually had to find good partners and funding to do the stuff we want. And till the end, I will give you a bonus tip if you are a game developer. Finnish National Gallery, all the collection I told you, we have API. It's free to use. You can get all the metadata and copyright-free images with CC0 license just through the API, and you can do whatever you want. CC0 license means that you can actually do whatever you want with the collection. So this is free tip. And thank you. If you have any questions, yeah. Was I in time? I have no idea.
Great. Thank you, Anna. This is so fantastic. I mean, I'm super proud of the Finnish National Gallery to do a project like this. So congratulations on that.
I'm also proud of us. I mean, it's not taken that Finnish National Gallery and any other museum organization would go on this kind of. I'm really proud of our leaders and the members of our board that actually gave us a chance. And when I came with a really crazy idea, they were just, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I started following, like, I have had this kind of very dusty idea of museums and galleries beforehand. And when I started working with the concept of the Finnish Museum of Games, I also, on my travels, went to different museum spaces, and it's actually pretty nice that there's so much interactivity nowadays there.
Yeah.
So it's a good place to also check, like, go to the museums. There are actually now really interesting things happening, and also in the digital spaces. So there's
and a lot of different events. Second free tip for the day. This week's Friday, Atheneum has free for students and under 25 days. It's called Atheneum Late. And if you don't have a museum card, you should go this Friday afternoon. So there's a lot of happening there, but it's free for everybody with a student card or under 25.
Oh, thank you. That's nice. If audience has a question to Anna, so just raise your hand and we'll bring you the mic. But I'm going to you already touched it a little bit that with the workshops and the things that you worked with the Art Heist. But did you consider, like, what different, if you are able to tell us, like, what were the different concepts that you were considering with the Art Heist? Is there some other game mechanics that you would have wanted to build for Fortnite?
Yeah, I would have preferred a game that would work better solo because, Art Heist takes, if you don't have enough players, it's not possible to play, to be honest. You can enter the map, but it's really boring. And it would be much more fun if you have like 6 versus 6, and you, especially if they are your own friends, and you can discuss during the game and strategize, and so that gets the game on the like completely different level. I was hoping to create a game that would work on its own, like as a one solo player.
Yeah.
But once we got this idea, it was so supreme compared to the other game ideas we had. And for me, it was really essential that the game we created had the art had like really good reason to be in it. So it wouldn't be just like something taking place in an art gallery, because that was quite common suggestion on the workshop. Like the only thing related to art and art museums would be the setting, and everything else would be something else. Yeah. Then we also had this amazing idea, which I still really like and I hope one day could create, was that you are in an art gallery, but all the characters in the paintings have gone. So there are only the backgrounds. There's no characters, and they become zombies, and you kind of have to attack and return them to the paintings. Like, this would be great.
I would love to play that.
Yeah, but it would have taken quite a lot of designing hours that we didn't really have resources, because as I've now many times told you, we have and had limited resources. And one of the guiding thing was like, what can we do within this budget that is still great and still interesting?
Okay.
That's just a reality quite often, I think.
All right, just raise your hand if you have a question. There's one question coming in, so we'll bring the mic, and please stand up.
Thank you. Thanks for the talk. I was wondering, have you considered like hosting game jams or stuff like that to further get Finnish people, also international people to interact with the collection you have? Maybe a game jam could be built around that or something.
Yeah, we actually have a crazy idea of organizing tournament, but I think that might be a bit out of our reach at the moment. But some kind of game jam, some kind of tournament-ish thing would be really great to organize next year. Yeah, this is something that's been in the mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it would be like, I'm creating ideas on the stage, but it would be nice to organize it in our museums. So it's kind of weird setting to come and play and jam like video games in a museum. So yeah, maybe this is something that we will do next year.
And maybe on the jam that we have, we can use your digital library as well to kind of get nice paintings on the walls and things like that. So.
When you are creating games, you can just like get everything from our website. Most of the art images, of course, the CC0, that means the artist has died over 70 years ago. So it's mainly the older side of the art. But the images are, most of them, there's a bit variation in the quality. But there's a lot of like almost 10 megabytes images, so there's a lot of also good quality. And they're the known artists, like they are Albert Ehrenfeldt, Akseli Gallenkallala, they are the Finnish big classics.
Now walk us through a little bit of how Art Heist has been used. Is it used in art education in schools or anything like that? It's still really fresh, but are you planning on kind of giving it to schools to play, or kind of doing that sort of thing?
It's free to play, so if the school wants to play, they can play. Actually, I did this because of thinking of the educators. As I told, there's the sneaky idea that when the player encounters the art in game environment, then it's easier to take information about the art afterwards. So that is why we have written a bit about the artworks that are chosen in here. We have created a gallery. We have shared that with teachers on our kind of contact lists. So this is something, the information that we are hoping the art teachers might take into account. I don't think teachers are going to play Fortnite in their lessons, classes. I hope to be surprised, but I don't think, because it's a Fortnite, it's a shooting game. So, and it takes a lot from the computer, and everybody has to have account and blah blah blah. So I think it's not possible within the school.
We'll see. Maybe
We'll
some
see. Maybe
schools
some
will challenge this.
Yeah, hopefully.
Huh?
But especially for example, the Hugo Simberg art exhibition. Every school that has VR said they could buy it from the Meta Horizon store and just like get it on their own goggles.
All right, we're gonna end with a question is that you've been talking so much about the resources and lack of those, but you've probably been playing a lot of games and know about the game space. Like, what would be your dream project to do with the Finnish National Gallery? Like, if you had limited like numbers of budget.
This is interesting. To be honest, with my work thinking, my biggest dream is to be able to create our own concept on the virtual art exhibition that uses gamified chances and possibilities and solutions, but that would be open access to all museums around the world. So, because I know that there's a lot of museums that struggle with the same concept idea we have. Like, we have all this beautiful art, and how do we show it to the audience digitally that is still interesting? And there's a lot of museums struggling with the same issue, and my dream is to being able to kind of create this solution, because most of the companies that offer solutions for this are still virtual walls with paintings on them, and that is not what I'm thinking.
Okay, so that's very nice. You would love to bring it back to the entire audience of people in different countries, of museums and galleries.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
Thank you, Anna. That's such a nice dream. So thank you, everybody. We're going to go for a lunch break, and after that, more amazing talks.
Thank you.